Must be 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
All right, it's 5 o'clock. Let's call a meeting of the Common Council of the City of Amory on June 2nd, 2021 to order. And we'll start out with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Roll call.
Bush. Van Blaricom.
Yes.
Isaacson.
Yes.
Lanham.
Here.
Leonard.
Here. Okay, tonight we're going to start out with public comment, and I would like to call Julie up to the podium.
Oh, that Julie. There's two Julies here.
Oh, this Julie. Well, Julie's been with the city of Amory and working many, many years, approximately 39 years. And
Yeah, I guess so.
That's a long time. So we have an achievement award honoring Julie Reimenschneider for your compassionate and dedicated service to the Amory community. Thanks for your 39 wonderful years.
Wow. Well, thank you.
Larry can remember where you are.
Well, thank you very much.
Is there anything you would like to say?
Well, I will say it's been an honor to work for the city and an honor to be on the city council for almost 2 terms.
Okay, almost.
I didn't realize when we moved, I thought I was still within my district, so I'm sorry for that, but anyway, it is what it is. And so it has been an interesting experience. I'll tell you, all the years I prepared agendas and worked with all the things that Patty works with, you know, very often I sat at those meetings and I wished I could vote. And of course I couldn't. So after several years of retirement and the opportunity came up, I thought, well, why don't I run for a seat? And see, you know, if somebody wants to challenge me, that's fine. But as it happened, nobody did. And so I thought, well, I'll just do 1 term. And then I thought, well, maybe there's still things I'd like to see done. And so I thought, we'll do a 2nd term. So anyway, I'm 1 year shy of completing my 2nd term. And then I thought, then it's time to go to pasture. So anyway, it's been an honor to work with all of you. And I am delighted to see our city council members, the dedication and the interest they show. And it's nice to see some younger people moving up in the ranks. And I am so pleased and so honored to have you be doing your work here. And I'll be watching. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Julie.
First met Julie, she was typing water bills for Irene. Typing on each water bill.
Yeah.
And then after Irene retired, she kind of took over from that job, helped Ralph. After Ralph retired, she got to be city administrator. So I watched her grow with the city for many years.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thanks again, Julie. Okay, we just had the groundbreaking for wall smashing at the new city center, and that was a little different, taking a sledgehammer to sheetrock wall. But that's done. They'll be starting Monday and at 8 o'clock, and they will be doing some construction work, a lot of construction work. A lot of destruction work, actually. And then public comment, I see with Amory Women's Club here. Okay.
Julie and
Yep.
It's gotta be a first for 2 Julies on
I'm Nell Anderson. I'm president of the Amory Women's Club.
I'm Julie Anderson. co-chair of the art fair, which is why we're here.
So again, we want to just say thank you to the community for supporting our endeavors, throughout the year. But last year, because of COVID, we had to shut down and not have our art fair. But our Amory Art and Craft Fair will be held in North Park on June 19th. So it's coming up on Saturday. We've been talking with Jeff Mahoney and with Patty Bjorklund, and I think that we're going to be okay. We'll be meeting with the police and as well as other people on the park to make sure that things are blocked off so that people aren't driving through the middle of our vendors and things like that. But
We have that guarantee, right?
Sure.
well, it looks pretty good. I mean, I think people can get through if they need to, and we're conscious of that. And we also want to say thank you for those wonderful new restrooms that you put in there. We said, this is our 43rd year of having an art and craft fair, and we always do a little survey, or at least since I've been in charge. I don't know. Anyway, and one of the comments was always, "Oh, those bathrooms," and we were always on the bathroom duty, so we're really glad. And they're really, yeah, they really are nice. I really appreciate that. Yeah.
What's the date again? Sorry,
June 19th.
June 19th.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'd like to post this here.
Yes,
as a place.
I can do that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Any questions or comments?
I hope it doesn't rain.
Oh, please.
Rain or shine, we'll be there.
All right, good.
Okay, thank you so
Good.
much.
You're welcome.
Thanks, ladies.
Yeah.
And that brings us into Greg.
Comment.
Yep.
Craig Olson with Acme Junk Company, and I'm here on behalf of some of the businesses on the 100 and 200 North block where we have some sidewalks poured and curb poured, and we were out looking at the slope from the edge of the poured concrete section to the curb, and right out front of the Slumberland building next to us, there's a 7-inch drop in 47 inches, and it's concerning for safety and quite frankly, opening your car door. If you're parked close to the curb and you wing your door open, how many people are going to be whacking their doors? And outside of Chet's front door, I believe the drop is more like 7 3/4 inches. So we're just wanting to bring this to the attention for a safety reason. And I know a lot of other businesses are concerned once they saw that, thinking about the people that come into their store, how they're going to access that and how they're going to keep it or maintain it from snow and ice and all of that. So just wanting to bring it to the attention so we don't get all the way down to Amory Family Restaurant and look at it and go, oops, I think we screwed up here. Something's not safe. So
That's why Eric's here tonight.
okay, yep. And all right, thank you.
Thank you, Greg. So, and we'll put Eric up, and we have other questions, and he's got other things for us too, I believe.
Yeah, just brief project update. Yeah, I guess I'll just start out with covering that concern that was brought up. There is a boulevard area in the downtown area, so the sidewalks themselves should be about 2% from your door out to from 4 feet to the curb and in. And so what happened in that area is that the downtown buildings, if you look at it, kind of go like this, up and down, and some people have doors up and some people have doors down and stuff like that. And so in order to maintain ADA compliance across there, we had to come up with a boulevard area that was tipped right next to the curb. And so the actual ADA accessible walkway will be completely fine in the wintertime. The curb ramps are all ADA compliant, and if they follow that accessible route from the curb ramp from the street curb ramp onto the sidewalk area, that should only have about 1.5 to less than 2% side slope on it. So there should be no concern there. I understand the concern that you have brought up, that it feels steep in that area, but in order to get the storm sewer system to flow, curb and gutter to work properly, and not have little dips and not have little, I guess for lack of a better term, like bird baths in the sidewalk in front of people's buildings where it would ice up and such, we had to maintain that complete ADA accessible slope and then make up the difference to the curb so that the curb and gutter can all function as well. It's not ideal when you're redoing these downtown areas, but you have to work with what you've got in the downtown area. And if the buildings are kind of all over the place, we have to meet that. We can't rebuild the whole downtown area. If it's in the middle of a field, it's really easy to get it right. But coming in on a reconstruct, it's more difficult to do. And that's why we have that boulevard area.
And as I was talking to Drew, the east side of Main Street is 12 inches lower than the west side of Main.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. And so
And,
the Main Street is actually, yes.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. It's lower on one side than it is the other side. And so the one side does feel steeper as it's coming down into it, and the other side shouldn't feel quite as bad.
Do you think back in the old days that because the river was over there, they had the water, they designed it to flow towards the river when it rained?
I have no idea. There's enough stuff that we've dug up in this project that I already scratched my head about what they were thinking, but
Okay.
Yep.
Now, one other thing here, we're gonna have a 5-foot buffer between the parked cars and the travel lane, I believe.
Yes.
So that will help alleviate for people to walk from their cars down the parking lane. They can actually walk up to the ADA curb ramp and get onto the sidewalk with no.
There's a bike and pedestrian plan, or bike lane in the DOT's marking plan.
Really?
And so there will be a full bike lane through there. It varies between 5 and 6 feet on both sides. So if people get out of their cars, they should be able to walk along their cars near the bike lane and still have that 5 feet of buffer prior to any traffic travel way.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess other general updates. They've been setting, Sampson Concrete has been on site for a while now. They're setting forms to pour sidewalk. They won't be pouring any sidewalk tomorrow, but Friday there'll be concrete trucks everywhere is the current plan. So they're gonna keep forming sidewalk tomorrow and then do a big pour on Friday. B&B Electric has been on site, continuing to set light pole bases in the right locations so that those new poles can go up. We did have an issue with the curb from Center Street to the north that was poured about 3 weeks ago. The flag depth, which would be the front of the curb that you can see right now next to the gravel, that is an inch thinner than it should have been when it was poured. And so we are working.
Is it 2 inches, isn't it?
They potholed it and it came down to an inch. Like Drew went along with Sean from Sampson and, you know, they took half a dozen spots and potholed it, and it was 7 inches instead of 8 inches. And so I've been in conversations with DOT regarding that. And tomorrow we have our weekly progress meeting. We're going to be talking to the contractor about proposable or solutions, any proposals that they want to put forward for amending that, because it doesn't meet spec. And so we're fighting hard on your behalf to have a significant cost reduction for that work, unless the city would like to see it tore out and put back in. But that would also mean timelines are affected, not from your end of the contract because it was a contractor oversight, but it would mean that they would have to tear out all the curb and gutter that's there, as well as some of the flat work. And I know that that's probably not what we want to see, is it head backwards. And so we're going to work with the contractor to come up with a solution that we think is fair on both ends, and they're comfortable with us presenting to the city, and we'll come with 2 or 3 options for you to kind of consider, and ultimately you will have the final call on what happens. So.
But because of the base they put in and all the infrastructure underneath it, it should be solid.
It should be solid. So the issue comes with over time, it may deteriorate quicker because it's not quite as thick. With it being on a Main Street parking area, all the infrastructure underneath is completely fine.
Right.
It would come down to the concrete removal and replacement if that is what you so choose. So,
But I guess the concrete that's there now has been there 80 years, and is that all even and the same, or, you know?
You're talking the stuff that was torn out originally. I don't know how thick that was. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
So, update for you, after we come up with something, The contractor may request a special meeting of this group to consider that so that they have a plan moving forward of how we're gonna deal with that. But I just wanted to put that on your radar that that may be a request that comes in soon. Any other questions from the board?
I see they poured the red
That is a,
concrete.
yes, that is a sample. We asked them to pour a sample because the board has a final opinion on that. So I'd encourage you to stop out, look, it's on the way north end, right by Berman Street. They poured a little 3-yard section of red concrete up there. And if that color is appropriate, they'll carry that through the entire job. So I'd encourage you to stop up, look at that, and that might be one, if they request a special meeting, they'd probably want to know on that as well.
Okay, and that's the darkest red I guess they can do, so.
That is what they said.
Okay.
I have not seen any information on the color palette, and I've asked for it and haven't gotten it yet.
Okay,
And so,
well, it looks all
but
right.
I did tell them that you had requested the darkest red that was available.
Okay.
So
What do you mean by carry it through the whole project in that there's a lot of concrete already poured?
the color, the red concrete.
Yes.
So they would carry that through in all the sections that need to be red yet. So all those bump outs kind of on Main Street, all of
Okay.
those will get red concrete
I understand.
around
Okay,
them. And so it would be that color,
got it.
should you so choose, that
All right.
becomes the color.
One other thing. The eye clinic, Bryce Christopherson, he got into a jam down there by losing his driveway off 46.
Mhm.
And I know there's extenuating circumstances there because there was no original permit applied for back when they built the dental arts back, how many years
Yep.
ago?
Mhm.
So that got pulled, and he has no access from there, and I could see why he wanted it. I went down there and looked at it for parking. You pull in from the front and back up and drive through the rear. Now it's going to be a little bit more difficult. Is there, how do I say, is there anything I think he's wrote a letter to the guy in charge of the driveway.
Driveways?
Yeah.
For the DOT.
So when you hear back from that, see what he has to say. It'd be nice to help him, but I can see also there's not going to be a travel lane there for turning anymore. It's going to be, the travel lane will be the turn lane, and the center lane it's going to be messed up because there's two places right next to each other to turn into, so.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that issue is a little out of our hands as
I
the
understand that.
city project.
Yeah.
DOT had sent a letter, from my understanding, DOT had sent a letter to him. And we have a copy of that letter that basically says your driveway's being eliminated. And it's a tough situation, but without DOT permitting that driveway, we can't put that back in.
Okay.
And if DOT wants to issue a permit, if he wants to apply for it and they're willing to issue it, I would say that we could put that in somewhat at his expense or DOT's expense. I wouldn't want to see that fall back on the city since DOT said we couldn't do it and it already got poured and everything. So I think that's kind of where we're at, is waiting on DOT for that.
All right.
I guess speaking of DOT, do you have a correspondence section in your meeting where you were planning on covering Beth Cunningham's email about the detour? Or would you like me to address?
No, that's the other one I didn't write down. Yes,
Okay.
the detour part, yes.
So Beth Cunningham with DOT received an email regarding some property owners or downtown business owners that weren't happy with the detour routing folks from down Highway 8, 63, and 64 to the south. I guess just to address that, and so you know what's happening with that, when a state highway is detoured, it has to be detoured on state highways. And so to just like put all of the state highway traffic to route it specifically on Harriman or up Riverside or whatever it might be, that puts all of the burden, like those roads aren't designed to carry state highway traffic, trucks, things like that. They're not designed with the turning movements of semis. I mean, and I think if you've seen a semi try and get around Berman Street by the eye clinic there, you see that. And so that's why the detour is the way it is, because it's meant to, those roads are meant to hold up to that traffic and are safe that way. Putting semis on local roads is just not safe, and it's gonna end up in damage to property, or infrastructure in the city, as these local roads wear down quicker. And so construction is difficult. It just is. It's difficult for a summer, and it's something that hopefully we can all work through together and try and get it. And I appreciate the chamber's involvement and the board's involvement in trying to get signs up and things like that. Just in general, construction's not easy on a downtown.
Correct. And in her letter, she said the city is responsible. It's the city's project, with the city hired A1 Construction. And A1 took on the responsibility of the state detour, I believe. It's done to state guidelines.
So MSA designed that.
MSA,
detour
so you,
route.
okay.
Yep.
So
According
it's
to
all
state
designed to state
guidelines.
guidelines.
Yes.
And because Highway 46 is closed, state guidelines says it has to be marked road closed. Is that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Because if you don't mark it road closed, people follow it. And it's the same thing with trying to do like a trucks only or whatever, local like it just doesn't work, because when the trucks see trucks only, they're like, there's a way through that. I know there's a way through it if they're not rerouting everyone, and they'll take it. And so what Beth said in her email was that over many years of DOT experience, they've realized that they just need to put road closed up, because that's how it needs to be. Otherwise, people will try and skirt through, and then the city of Amory and the taxpayers in Amory are left holding the bag at the end of it to fix the roads and fix the infrastructure and deal with angry residents of having semis pass their house and things like that. So it's just better off for everyone to put it that way. I understand that local businesses could disagree with that standpoint, but in terms of safety and taxpayer money, this is the best route.
Okay. All right. I think that's good.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric, for the update.
Yep.
A couple more public announcements. Milling on 46 South from Broadway to Quick Trip starts on Monday, 6/7. Is that correct, Jeff? You said? Okay. So, and they should be done by the end of the week. So we'll see what happens there. And then they're going to move to that end, the north end, and mill and put down the first layer anyway. And hopefully by then we will have ready for our base coat downtown, maybe?
I talked to A1 today. They said hopefully within 3 weeks, they'd be ready for asphalt through the downtown area.
Okay,
Close.
that's real close. Okay, it would be nice to do it when Monarch was still here.
Yep.
Yeah, all right, all right. I had a conversation, Jeff and I had a conversation today with the Cattail Trailhead Mo from Polk County. They're gonna drop some plans as far as coming up with some parking area. We would be responsible for the base, and they would be responsible for the planning design of it and the blacktopping of it. Okay. And then it still would be nice to open that up with the recycling center. Has anybody had any more ideas on recycling?
The only folks I've talked to thought it was a good idea to put it down behind the in that piece of city ground there, behind the old Ford garage.
Okay. You didn't think the city community center parking lot would be a?
It's on Harriman across the street from Oak Brook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm concerned about access in that particular location because I don't think there's actually access to our land there, is there?
We'd have to create access.
Correct.
Where?
Yeah, next gen.
And there's no pavement. I'm in favor of moving it to the community center, just in that there's very little for us to do as a city. It's already blacktopped, et cetera. the parking lot is in not the greatest condition in the first place, so it's gonna have to be probably restriped in order to accommodate it, and there is plenty of room there. And how often is the parking lot full at this particular point in time? And perhaps we can do some sort of a deal with the hospital as far as parking overflow in their particular parking lot.
Sure.
That's my idea. That's my thoughts. I'm not a proponent of putting it behind next gen. I know what that looks like.
Oh, it gets wet there
Anytime it
and
rains.
Amy talked
And
about
you're
have
still
to
dealing, you're
move one of
dealing
their
with
pets.
streams, you're dealing with water. It's all of the same reasons why you don't want it over there.
The
It's the
biggest
same
reason would
stuff.
be anything to do with runoff off to
Yep.
that little
Yeah.
street.
It's the same
Yeah.
thing. So I'm not in favor of moving it there, so.
So I will go ahead and drop a plan to, for spacing, actual go out and measure it off. And like I did the last time, we put the little spaces on the parking lot and see if we can fit
Well,
that in.
And, the other thing is as it's currently laid out, they line up end to end to end to end.
Yeah.
And I know that there's probably a particular way that they need to get picked up. So, it's not saying we have to go end to end to end to end. Why not, put them
That's what,
perpendicular to the
yes, so they
back,
just
so
back
they
the
can just
truck up.
come in and take them and
Yeah.
out. Yes, you're gonna lose maybe, a driving lane or spot or two, but how much is,
If we
how
can put them
much
up
time
against
is
the
really gonna be
fence there on the
affected?
west side would be a nice spot.
That's what I
Has
thought.
anyone reached out to the community center to let them know that
But
this
we
is?
will do that. Okay. And then, this Saturday, is the 30th annual pancake breakfast going along with Cattail Trail Days at the Amory Airport from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. Come on out for pancakes, everyone. And the last thing that I have, and I know people up there won't be able to see it, but it is the apartment plan for the upstairs of this building. So if you want to take a look, pass it down, or just before or after the meeting, you can take a look at it. And looks all right.
Can I ask a question about
Sure.
the event that's going on this weekend that always went in conjunction with Cattail Trail Days, and that's not happening this year, am I correct? Or is it
What?
happening, Cattail Trail Days? The first weekend in June? But the reason I'm asking is because there always ended up being free fishing.
I was asked when it was, and I said it was the weekend of the Cattail Trail Days, and they put it on the calendar as Cattail Trail Days, I believe, but
Okay,
I don't know who's running it.
I just don't know if it's happening, but I thought it was the same weekend. as
Wasn't-
the
There's
Lions
not
Breakfast.
been anything in the free press, I don't think. has
No.
there?
Yeah.
And that should have been, because this is the
This
weekend
is the weekend.
coming up, yes. This is
Yeah.
free fishing weekend, I think.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Okay, so that is that's all I have in public comment. So as we move forward, we have consent agenda items, minutes from the city council, May 5th, the special council, May 18th, and committee of the whole, May 18th.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent items. Easy for me to say, consent agenda items as presented.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
I,
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay, let's move on to our regular city council meeting here now. We have ordinance 09/2021 mailbox ordinance. And this ordinance was changed, correct, to comply?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what
To-
was followed up.
Yep, okay.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 09/2021.
second,
Any further discussion? All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay, resolution, or number 2, resolution 04-2021 ambulance service merger and 05-2021 city hall certified survey map for alley dedication.
I will make a motion to approve the ambulance resolution.
Second.
Any further discussion?
And again, that is in support of
Right.
check 1.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, good catch.
okay. So, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay, 05-2021 city hall certified survey map for alley dedication.
It's in here somewhere.
Can you explain where that is, please? I'm not.
Right there.
Oh, is this
It's-
to
it's-
give us, keep access for that storm sewer and utility stuff, I think?
No, actually, we get the it opens up the parking. We get access to the alley through that. Otherwise, Amy Telcom owns that parking on that side. Dean Raveling owns the
Got it.
parking on this side. And
Oh.
that just gives us city access. And on that certified survey map, it also shows an easement for the city for 10 feet.
For the utility,
Yeah,
yeah, that's what
yeah,
I saw. Okay.
Yeah, for the utilities, so.
Yep.
Thanks for asking that question. I wasn't sure what we were
I
talking
know.
about. So,
Okay, I would move to accept the survey map for alley dedication.
Second that.
any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Eric Hensgaard. You're up.
All right. Mr. Mayor, members of council, thanks for your time. This is an update on the Industrial Park Road. It's been a few months. Actually, there's a concept plan over there if you have any specific questions. But the biggest update that we have is that we were waiting. Susan Badkey from the West Central Regional Planning Commission had submitted a grant to the EDA on behalf of the city back in December. And last week we heard back and the EDA has not selected the project for funding, unfortunately. So what does that mean? We did have 2 segments of the project, kind of a half and half, where the city was moving forward with half of the project before this grant idea came up. And we kind of doubled the project to make it more attractive for the grant process. And so, I think there are still options for something out there. And we have a meeting with the city staff on Friday to discuss what the options are and how we want to move forward. But we had originally talked about if EDA didn't fund the project, that TIF monies were available to move ahead with segment 1.
Yeah.
We had originally thought that we would hear back from EDA in March. It's a little later than anticipated, but here we are. So we'll meet with staff and see where we want to go from here.
Sounds good?
Yeah.
Good, thanks, Eric.
Good.
Okay, next on the agenda is approval of liquor, cigarette, and other licensor. From my understanding, Tom has gone through and okayed all the individuals. And Patty has issued all the licenses,
The applications.
the applications.
Yep.
For licenses? Okay. And so that's all a done deal.
Done deal. Just
Okay.
waiting for approval.
I'll make a motion to approve the liquor, cigarette, and all other licenses as listed here for the June 2nd council meeting, which includes beverages, Class B liquor, or Class B beer, cigarette, tobacco license, mobile home park license, and operator licenses.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay, next, closed session, Wisconsin statute 1985 1C. This is in regards to full-time police promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation date of any public employee over which the government body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility.
I'll make a motion to go in closed session.
I'll second.
Roll call?
Bush. Van Blaricon,
Yes.
Lennon,
Yes.
Leonard,
Yes.
Elkin.
Yes.
Okay. We're now in closed session.